Welcome back, Truth Seeker. It is Tuesday, August 27th, 2024, and here is a quick rundown of the top headlines today. As always, it's another day of news by the numbers. So, Tim Walz and Kamala Harris going to do their first joint interview since becoming the ticket for the Democratic Party, and some familiar numbers. Notice that Tim Walz, the VP nominee, from his last birthday to today's is 144th day of his age. And today is August 27th, a bit like the number 827, which is the 144th prime. And you know that's not an accident, because that's a very special number to this nation's history. Remember, in Gematria, the United States of America equates to 144, as does Jesuit order. And remember, Kamala, she just couldn't pass that bar exam until she took it at Jesuit San Francisco University. And I really do wonder if she ever passed the thing. Also noteworthy about these two, August 27th, typically the 239th day of the year, where 239 is the 52nd prime. Kamala represents California. Tim Walz represents Minnesota. You might remember Chris Cornell, he had those lyrics. How did it go? Looking California, feeling Minnesota. I always wondered what that was about on the song Outshined. Anyway, both California and Minnesota in Gematria equate to 52. We were just talking about the thing the other day with Gavin Newsom with the 52 million mis-expensed funds for Medicaid. And of course, Minnesota, which equals 52, hosted Super Bowl 52. The words president, White House, government, authority, and even the cabal, they all have that Gematria 52 as well. So how interesting that these two do their first joint press conference on this day, August 27th. I should also mention it's 54 days before Kamala's upcoming birthday on October 20th. Just do the math. It'd be 4 days to the end of this month, 30 days to the end of September. Her birthday's on October 20th. That's 54 days later. What's Jesuit order equal when you use numerology? Of course, it equals 54. Big number at the Jesuits. Their headquarters at the Church of the Jesu, Building 54. So you have the Jesuit connection from Tim Walz's last birthday and the Jesuit connection to Kamala's upcoming birthday. The special counsel, Jack Smith, born John Lumen Smith, has reworked the indictment against Trump from January 6th. And notice John Lumen Smith. Notice the gematria of his name in the four base ciphers. Again, the four base ciphers, alphabetic order in reverse, both orders with numerology. 177, 60, 201, 75. It's hard to get any more Jesuit than this. And remember, D.C. is where the Jesuits set up camp. Remember, the federal city moved to the Jesuit stronghold of D.C., and then they moved Inauguration Day to the 201st day of the nation's age. And, of course, January 6th, just before Inauguration Day, was 201 days after the only Confederate statue fell in D.C. of Albert Pike, and the Confederate flag flew, and Lincoln blamed the Civil War on the Jesuits. Anyway, John Lumen Smith equals 177 and 201, just like the Jesuit order. John Lumen Smith, the small way, equals 60 and 75. Interesting, because this comes right before the 60th U.S. presidential election. When the Jesuits were recognized by the Roman Catholic Church for their first decade, their order was limited to 60 members. We've seen a lot of this 60 business. Remember when Trump's ex-wife fell down the stairs and died 60 weeks into the first ever Jesuit Ignatian year on the same day he said he'd run in the 60th U.S. presidential election, which is the upcoming one, where Kamala's about to turn 60 and she started riding Willie's Willie when she was in her 20s and he was 60 years old, and yada, yada, yada. We've seen about 1,000 indictment rituals with 60 leading up to this moment. Donald Trump and indictment also have the gematria 60. And as for the 75 part, look, it's the 75th day of Trump's age that this comes. The word order itself has gematria 60 and 75, and we know this is how this cabal works. This is how they maintain order, by a Kabbalistic code of letters and numbers and dates, and every day the propaganda unfolds by the code. Of course, the founder of the Jesuits, Ignatius Loyola, his name has the 201 like the Jesuit order, the 75 and the 87, going with the superior general, the leader being 75 years old right now, and the first Jesuit pope, Pope Francis, being 87. Again, the Jesuits were credited in France. And let's not even overlook the 827-144 piece in light of this being the news today. Just, again, Remember, the Jesuits came out of suppression 144 days after the only 201 president in history, and that was James Madison. Also in the news today, the Oropouche virus, if I'm saying it right, but more fear-mongering by the numbers. Today, August 27th, leaves 126 days left in the year, but another way to phrase the date is today is the first of the last 127 days in the year, and Oropouche, if I'm saying it right, equals 127, so that's perfect. But then you take it the small way, Oropouche virus equals 79. That's today's date numerology. 8 plus 27 plus 20 plus 24 equals 79. The formal title of the Jesuits, Society of Jesus, equals 79. Should remind everybody that they declared the pandemic on the 79th day of Anthony Fauci being 79 years old. And now he's 83, and West Nile virus equals 83, and we just got that story by the numbers the other day at the time of the mosquito scare in Massachusetts, which is by the numbers, which we also just covered in recent days. And this Oropouche virus, which I might very well be saying wrong, the story's coming out of Cuba, which equals 27 forwards and backwards, and here we are on the 27th of the month. And I did cover this one earlier, but in case you missed it, again, also in the news today, on the day leaving 126 days left in the year, Mark Zuckerberg blaming the Biden administration for recent censorship on his platform, which is pure politics, because as we know, Facebook/Meta, they've been censoring for as long as they've existed. They've been censoring information. Bush administration, Obama administration, Trump administration, it was the worst. It was the very worst. And you could say that this is politics that actually is favorable for Trump in the upcoming election, since this is putting the Biden administration on blast. So it's kind of how I see it. I'm like, yeah, there's been bad censorship in the time of Biden. No doubt about it. We don't play politics over here, but at the same time, I'm just saying the worst administration for censorship to date has been the Trump administration. And this is favorable to the Trump administration, which might be coming back, and the censorship could even be worse. I'm just being fair about things. Again, also today, 827. 827 is the 144th prime. You run it the other way, censorship equals 144. Just like President Biden, just like Jesuit order. Just like how Jesuit Georgetown simulated that Biden would win the election June 12th, 2020, 144 days before the election. The upcoming election is going to be 144 days after Trump's birthday on a day special to the Jesuits, Guy Fawkes Day, the day the Catholic Church tried to blow up British Parliament. So those are the top headlines that are buzzing this evening. And again, you won't get this kind of coverage anywhere else. And some people don't care for this kind of coverage, but really you should, because every day you see how the news is being contrived by a code. And what does that really tell you about it? Should help you see that it's not really that legitimate. Kabbalistic propaganda to control your mind and keep you in the lanes they want you in. See through the deception, put the fear-mongering away, put the corrupt political system away. That's the message over here. Unite in truth, organize against tyranny, end it. Until next time, True Seeker.